Hey everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to be going over our March 2021 finance update. Just a quick disclaimer off the top, I am not a financial expert, nor do I pretend to be one. And if you are inspired at all by my videos, you should check out some of the different resources on the internet about how to invest and do your own research before investing into any particular stock. And don't take what I say into account and invest your entire portfolio the same way I do. Just because it's going well for me doesn't mean it'll continue to go well for me, and it definitely doesn't mean it'll go well for you in the future. So with that being said, let's get into the video. February was a pretty intense month for us in terms of finances, and I really enjoyed setting those goals that we set last month, and I think they helped us hit some of the metrics we wanted to hit this month. Part of our big goals this month were to hit a lot of balances in our wedding account, and we've definitely done that. But we've also managed to throw a lot of money into the stock market over the last month. Towards the end of February, I noticed a pretty large dip in a lot of the stocks that we typically invest in, and so I decided to buy more into those positions because I truly do believe that those companies and ETFs are going to continue to go up in the future. So this month we purchased 1 share of American Airlines, again trying to get more exposure into the travel industry. Then we purchased 0.41 shares of Tesla, again because I love Tesla and I do think that it's going to continue to go up in the future. We also purchased 0.7 shares of Apple. Again, Apple, one of the stocks I consistently buy into every single month, and I really do think it's a safe investment long term. Then we purchased 1 share of NEO. I know I said a couple months ago that I wouldn't continue to buy into NEO, but due to the large dip that NEO saw of down of around 15%, it hit under the price target of around $45 that I had set for it, so I decided to buy in a little bit more. Then we purchased 0.03 shares of Amazon. It's always so discouraging whenever I say the amount of Amazon that we've purchased, but this was about $90 worth of Amazon. It's just that stock is so expensive, but I do believe that Amazon is another one of those cornerstones of a portfolio that will continue to rise over many years to come. Then we purchased 1 share of Canopy Growth when it was down a little bit off of some of the insane gains that it saw over February. And lastly, we purchased 0.32 shares of ARK, the ARK Innovation ETF. I truly believe that ARK is poised to be one of the best ETFs out there, and even though my portfolio is extremely highly weighted towards technology and innovation, I do truly believe that those are going to be the cornerstones of our society moving forward, and I think that they will be extremely safe investments to go into the future. So with all of the purchases in Robinhood over the last month and all of the capital gains that have come through, the Robinhood account balance has grown to $6,202.19. Next we have Webull, which I have decided to just leave at the same amount that it was last month at $268.05. Eventually I plan on transferring these stocks over to a different brokerage just to simplify things a little bit, because I do think I am a little bit too diversified into different brokerages, and I think it does get a little confusing at the end of the day. But since we don't have much money in Webull already, I just figured I would leave it at the $268.05, and we would count that moving forward while I wait to determine what account I want to transfer that money into. Next, we move on to our M1 Finance Roth IRA. The M1 Finance Roth IRA saw an increase of $210 this month, which I am extremely happy about. It's always difficult for me to want to invest into the IRA versus the Robinhood account, since it does take time for the trades to go through until the next morning. But I have had the ability to invest into the M1 Finance Roth IRA a little bit more, and with capital gains, the Roth IRA has turned into $2,385.06. Next up, we moved into our crypto allocations. This month, I decided to go a bit harder into crypto as well, as both Bitcoin and Ethereum were down pretty significantly off their beginning of the month peaks. Now, I've bought Bitcoins at 52, 48, and 46, and I bought Ethereum upwards of $1,800 and down at near $1,500 as well. I do believe that these investments will hold long term, and even though they may take a long time to return money on the initial investment, I do believe that they are a fairly safe investment, or at least as safe as cryptocurrencies can get. So with the $203.41 we invested into Coinbase, the total of our Coinbase account has grown to $398.45. Next, moving on to our retirement accounts through both of my employers. We begin with the First Jobs 401k. The First Jobs 401k has grown to $1,878.45. And finally, we have my Second Jobs 401k, which has also grown quite a bit. The Second Jobs 401k has grown to $1,886.73. It's crazy to me how both 401ks are almost identical at this point, and it won't be this way for long. As I am contributing a lot more into my primary job's 401k, that one will significantly increase, while the second job's 401k just has a slow incline over time. So this brings the total for all of our investment accounts up to an astonishing $13,018.93. It's crazy to me how every single month we keep going up by an insane margin in our investment accounts, and it makes me extremely happy that we have not only demolished that $10,000 milestone that we hit a couple months back, but we have blown right by it, and now we've hit the $13,000 milestone already. Alright, so now we move into the YNAB portion of the video. Starting off here with the net worth. I typically do a 3-month chart for the net worth, but I decided to include all the way back to October just so I could show just how far we have come over the past few months. So if you look at this graph here, you can see that it has gone steadily up, up, and away. It's crazy to me how much higher our graph is this month than it was last month. So our total net worth for last month was $9,900. We are at almost a $10,000 net worth after all of our debts. And that makes me so happy to know that we are doing such a good thing and we are cutting down our debts enough and increasing our assets enough. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to decrease the car payment too much, but we have still decreased it a little bit over time. Just that little bit that we've been chipping away has really helped. And increasing this assets up has really, really made me confident in continuing to invest and has made me want to invest even more, which is obviously a very good thing. So switching over to the spending totals for the month. I did switch things up again on the graph here. I did think that there were better ways that we could show off exactly how much we spent for the month. So beginning with the monthly housing bills, so this is including all electricity, everything like that, was $1,202. Then the next biggest category is health, $560. I ended up getting a bill in the mail for a COVID test that I had got a few months ago because I was showing some symptoms of COVID, and obviously I wanted to get a test prior to going to work, so I went and got a rapid test. And unfortunately, I got charged a little over $200 for that test, so that is a big portion of this health budget for the month. Next, we put $452 into the house investment category, which makes me feel so good. Obviously, this is the Robinhood account primarily, but this is our individual brokerage accounts that we can dip down on if we want to. Next, we put $400 into the wedding budget. It definitely was more than this, but I ended up switching the way that I was showing the amount of money going into those categories on YNAB halfway through the month, so it ended up being a little bit more than that. Next, $282 in the But I Want It category, which I'm pretty happy with for the month, seeing as it's only 7% of our total for last month. $278 into gifts. Again, a lot of that was Valentine's Day stuff and preparing for like the wedding gift and things like that. Next, we have groceries at $234, which again, very happy with. I think that's a great grocery budget for the month, and I think we've done really well in working on that budget. Then we look at our crypto investments. We managed to put a couple $100 into there. $169 for a bunch of miscellaneous categories. $150 into retirement investment accounts. And $93 into auto maintenance, which always makes me happy that we are putting at least 2% of our income into the auto maintenance, because you never know when something's going to happen with the car. Now moving on to our goal review for February and our new goals for the month of March. Back in February, we had the goal of increasing our wedding budget up to $500, and I'm happy to say that we have well exceeded that up to $949. I think that by automating the $200 a week into Yada, it is allowing us to save our money automatically, and I think that that will help us in the long term in order to reach the goals we want to hit for our wedding budget. Next, we wanted to increase the savings account budget up to $700 in our primary banking account. This one unfortunately was a fail, and it stayed at $512 for the month of February. I'm not very upset about this one being a fail because I do think that we can pull a lot of the money out of the stock market if we ever needed to as a secondary emergency fund. Obviously, I think it's better for us to have a little bit more money in the savings account, but since we have been contributing so much into the wedding budget, I don't really see this as too much of a fail, so much as a restructuring of our goals. Next, we wanted to limit our eating out budget to $150. This one unfortunately was a fail as we hit $172 for the month of February. Now, as unfortunate as it is that this one was a failure, I think there are some things we can learn from the failure as well. We did realize that Valentine's Day was something that is more important to us than we had ever really realized, And so we ended up spending a bit on Valentine's Day on eating out and gifts and things like that. So now we have added that to the budget as a category line so that way we can prepare for next Valentine's Day. That way it's not such a surprise. Next, we wanted to limit the entire but I want it subcategory group to $300, which was a success as we had budgeted $272 in for the month of February. And lastly, we wanted to be more realistic with our grocery budget. And I do think, even though that this is an unmeasurable goal, I do believe that we have hit that metric as well. I think we have done really well on this goal for the month because we have started budgeting out exactly how much we want to spend for groceries for the week, and we have started listing out exactly what we need and even itemizing and figuring out how much those items will cost at our local grocery store. I think this has allowed us to do a lot less impulse shopping and has made our grocery budget a lot more realistic, and it has helped bring it down a little bit as well. And moving on to our goals for the month of March. Our first goal is to limit our But I Want It category to $250, and I do think this is a reasonable goal. Since we had $270 last month, I don't think it's too much of a change, so that way we can still feel like we have freedom in that subcategory group, but I do think it is a manageable difference that will make a difference over time. Our second goal is to limit our eating out budget to $100. Obviously, this is an extremely optimistic goal, but I do think that we can hit somewhere close to that $100 mark. And as long as we are less than the month beforehand, I feel pretty good about the eating out budget in general, but it would be really nice to hit that $100 mark for the month of March. And lastly, we want to increase the pet vet bills category in the budget up to $100. Obviously, it's important to have an emergency fund set aside for your pets, and $100 barely scratches the surface of what we should have available in that category, but I think it's a good beginning goal for that category. So there we have it, our March 2021 Finance Update Review. If you thoroughly enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like, as that really helps make my video go across YouTube and spread out to more people. And if you really enjoyed this video a lot and want to share with me your thoughts about investing and where your finances have gone over the past month, make sure to leave a comment down in the comment section below. Lastly, if you really enjoy watching my videos come across your feed and enjoy seeing them every single time they are posted, consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell. That way you don't miss a single one of my videos every single time they're posted. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, take care.